is the Texas weather discussion video for Friday, the 22nd day of September. North Texas hot and dry weather will continue to prevail for today and the rest of this weekend, but a cold front comes through early next week. That could bring rain chances and also significantly cooler temperatures. And what's the latest on the tropics? A lot of things to talk about here. Let's take a look at the water vapor satellite view across the CONUS region. The main feature here is, of course, the ridge that's going to keep us dry for today and throughout this weekend and maybe into Monday. But that will all change on Tuesday. I'll talk about that later. But temperatures as of this morning at 5:06. Arlington 75, DFW 76. Most of us start the day in the mid to upper 70s. Well, mainly in the 70-degree range, and we should warm to the low 90s throughout this day. I think we should be just a tad cooler than yesterday. No triple-digit heat index values. Here on the convective outlooks, we have a severe weather risk for Amarillo extending up towards the Dakotas and Minnesota, and on day 2 we have a marginal risk for parts of Nebraska and Minnesota. And on day 3, if you're in green, the southern and western 2/3 of the state of Texas is in green, which means you have a risk for thunderstorms, but organized severe weather is not expected. Average rain for the next 7 days, valid through Friday morning of next week, about 1 to 1.5 inch of rain for North Texas. Again, your rain amounts can vary due to the scattered nature of the storms. This is just a look, but notice how the bullseye in North and West Texas is 7 inches of rain, where the heaviest rain is expected from the cold front that's going to come through early next week. But the tropics not as active as recent days. Jose has become post-tropical cyclone. That one's just still stalling near Cape Cod, just producing tropical storm force winds. That's why there's still a tropical storm warning in that area. Maximum sustained winds are at 50 miles an hour, and this should lose its tropical characteristics by Sunday afternoon, or perhaps Sunday Sunday morning. But this will continue to just stall out here as a post-tropical cyclone, and just continue to stall out with no threat to land at all. But Maria on the other hand, this made landfall in Puerto Rico 2 days ago, passed north of the Dominican Republic. Here's a GO 16 loop at the eye wall of this thing, and this one is not much has changed. Not much has transpired from yesterday in terms of this hurricane. Maximum sustained winds are at 125, and this will most likely pass to the east of the Bahamas, and this will most likely end up in open water between the East Coast and the Bermuda, somewhere between those islands as a hurricane and here's the intensity guide. Here's a model guidance of this thing, and except for the Canadian model, most models trend this northeastward, saying well to the east of the East Coast. The GFS ensemble basically says the same thing. What you want to look at is the black line with the squares. That's what the mean says, and the mean, of course, keeps this well off of the East Coast, not affecting it at all, and trends this to the northern Atlantic before dissipating. And here's the European ensemble, and most of these models say the same thing. So the bottom line is, if you're the threat of this impacting the East Coast is, of course, diminishing. But the good news is, if this somehow does go to the East Coast, it's most likely peaked at its intensity right now. It's most likely peaked at its intensity, in fact, 2 or 3 days ago, when it made landfall in Dominica, the island. But this should continue to stay a major hurricane for 1 or 2 days before weakening to a tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane in the next 5 days. So it's not it's not that it's not that powerful at all during the next 5 days. But let's take a look at the model guide. Here's the dailies. Here's the GFS. This is the 06Z run valid today at 1 o'clock. 500 millibars. Main feature here: cold trough still in the north, still in the west, and down below that we still have ridging. So hot conditions will prevail. Of course, highs in the low 90s. Should be a great day for high school football. Here's the weekend. This is Saturday. And this is Sunday. Not much change here. Things should still be mostly sunny, very warm, with highs again in the low 90s. You can see Maria is staying well off to the east coast, still staying well out of the east coast in this solution. And this is Monday of next week. As the cold front approaches, we should trend cooler. Highs only in the upper 80s to low 90s. Again, partly cloudy and very warm. And this is Tuesday. Cold front starts to arrive. We should trend cloudier again. We should trend cloudier with the chances of scattered showers and storms increasing. Again, highs in the upper 80s in this day. This is Wednesday. I think this is the biggest chance of scattered to perhaps numerous showers and storms. We may stay cloudy for most of the day on Wednesday with highs only in the low 80s. Fall-like weather there. And on Thursday, the cold front trend stays. The cold front moves to the south, but I still think we should see we could see a scattered shower or two. We should see a scattered shower or two left over on this day on Thursday. Again, highs only in the upper 70s. Fall-like weather once again. Here's a week from today, Friday the 29th day of September. A trough in the Central Plains, suggesting of course a pattern change, and down below that we still could see one or two showers or storms. But if we see anything, they should be few and far between. Most of us will continue to stay partly cloudy and pleasant with comfortable temperatures in the upper 70s. In the upper 70s right now. Here's the end of the forecast period. This is the first day of October. As of course indicated by a pattern change, we have deep troughing in the east and ridging in the. Of course, heat returns to the west, and most of the continental United States should stay dry on this day. For us, we stay dry with highs in the low 80s and lows in the low 60s. But pattern change much? The anomalies basically shows us about 2 to even 14 degrees below average on this solution. Take a look at the numbers, and when you mention fall, it just snaps like magic. By early next week, we should be on a significant cooling trend by early next week as fall-like weather conditions start, as the cold front starts to come through. Honestly, after Monday, no real signs of any 90-degree weather for a long time here. That's it for the Texas weather discussion video for today. My next video will be at around 7 a.m. Monday morning. If you can, catch your local TV station on the air at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and Godspeed.